My motorcycle accident happened June 19, 2013. I was torn, bloody, and killed in the street. My private office overlooking the AP course was my private counsel office. Stable and secure was my life. I had several advantages. That morning, I motorbiked to work. I had a unique motorcycle. I turned right out of the parking garage for the first time in 7 years in that office. I never did that in 7 years. Quiet left turn into town. At right were intersections and boulevards. I turned right on my motorcycle for the first time for reasons I'll never understand. I took a motorbike to work that day. Sometimes I did, sometimes not. I entered a left turn lane alone a few blocks distant. I'm alone in the left turn lane. I got a green arrow to turn left. A large SUV slammed me in the face as I turned, killing me instantaneously. Mangled, bleeding, and dead, I lay on the street. A man on a cell phone was in front of a tire business on the corner. First man on scene. He ran. Visitors from businesses and surrounding the area say, "Don't touch him, don't touch him, paramedics are on their way." He answered, "Screw it, God put me here for a reason." His name is Pastor Tom. He pastors the corner's residence that day. Pastor Tom rescued me from the wreck and saw that I died and received final rites. So our Father who art in heaven sent me up. 2 paramedics are eating lunch at the front of the Jack in the Box drive-thru on the other corner. They wouldn't be here if they'd had tacos instead of burgers that day. My body was revived in seconds by them. When I say brought my body back to life, I mean my spirit rocketed the head to the other side. I didn't go out of body. I observed the accident from above. I said, "Screw this, I'm out of here. This is terrible, this is tragic. I don't need to be a part of any of this," and went. I was cognizant during my time on the other side. I now call this other side the doorway, the in-between state for reaching heavenly, celestial, etc. abodes. While there, I was fully aware. I was calm and blissful. I had no wants or needs. I was happy. Nothing was important except being at ease and living since I had no body or sense of time. I had direct communication with Akashic agents. You may call them guardian angels. Personally, I call them Akashic agents. The Akashic space stores all time, history, and events. In the doorway, I felt like I was in our karmic records. The Akashic agents were kind, and I was telepathically told they were God's agents, administrators, who govern many of our worldly concerns. Back at the accident scene, a preacher reads my final rites and paramedics revive me in stage 3 Glasgow coma, which is death. In stage 3, imps shrug and say, "It's up to God now, there's nothing more we can do." I had diffuse axonal brain trauma, the worst brain trauma known to science, where your white and gray layers separate and all the billions of neurons that tell you what to do, from speaking and walking to moving your finger, were severed just in front of the Jack in the Box. Another man stood at the corner. His name is Sam. My son's best pal was Sam. He lived on the other side of town, nowhere near there, but he had a DMV appointment behind the Jack in the Box that morning, putting him on the corner. He contacted my 19-year-old son, who was working at In-N-Out Burger and following Dodger scores. His words, "Brandon, your dad's been in an accident," did not reflect my grief. When I think about the suffering it causes my loved ones, I am overwhelmed. To cause them anguish is something I can never accept. I always gave my family strength, motivation, instruction, and information, not pain. To his friend Sam, "How do you know it's my dad?" Sam adds, "Because it's his bike. No one has a bike like that." I had an interesting Italian motorcycle. Paramedics take me to ICU in an ambulance. Glasgow coma stage 3. My partner of 10 years and son were welcomed by 2 doctors and a priest at the hospital. Bad sign. They heard, if he ever wakes up, which by the way, he won't. No one ever comes out of a coma of a stage 3 DIA injury. Even with extensive plastic surgery, he will never look anywhere near the same. He had scars and bruises all over his face and head. 9 days later, I woke up on my birthday without a scratch. My coma lasts 9 days, yet I'm alert and aware of what's happening on Earth. Clients and others pray for me. I monitored my longtime clients, families, and children. My clients were crying and praying, "Don't die, Scott. You're a part of our family. You've helped keep us together for so long as our counselor. We need you. I didn't want them to suffer over something they cared about. I can tell you that their prayers fed and strengthened me on the other side. Deeply connected to the Akashic agents who offer me. The near-death experience often includes a life review. I was told it's an opportunity to discover who you are and how you might grow, becoming more spiritual rather than materialistic. We can grow, evolve, and pursue spiritual goals. I received a rare opportunity. I received a multiple life review and saw hundreds of lifetimes over thousands of years in a cinematic second. I was shown some of the most significant spiritual and religious events in history because I told them, yes, but I'm only interested in seeing lives that are significant to my spirit and my soul's journey, where I went wrong in my soul's journey to spirituality, where I went right so I can make it better. I don't care about any other lifetimes. Those don't matter to me. The Ghost of Christmas Future, right? I also received preview forecasts of what to expect when I returned. It appears that all near-death experiencers receive this glimpse, but few retain it. Few individuals remember the preview, but most remember the passing before reviewing. It was terrifying to see what I would return to. My accident was horrible, and I wanted to return to bad events. The other side is lovely, serene, and content. Therefore, we all want to stay. I said, hey, I thought that people chose to go back. And they said, that's the inference that we give them to make them more motivated to want to go back and do what's right. But the fact is, when it's your time, it's your time. When it's not, it's not. You're going back. I said, I don't want to go. I'll stay here. I would burden them, not help them. Throughout the 9 days, I questioned why. Why did I acquire such odd things? My NDE was harsh and protracted because I was in a coma the whole time. Second, because I was evidently qualified to acquire these really helpful perspectives before this event. Mystic and spiritualist my whole life. Since I learned to read at 4 or 5 years old, I've been interested in mystical and spiritual paths. Can't get enough. My NDE occurred in 2013 at 47 years old after Kenneth Grant's sexual practice magic yoga awakened my Kundalini at 25. It was incredible. My head-mounted Sahasrara Chakra grew entirely. I have years of experience in tarot, astrology, and numerology. The secret Ordo Templi Orientis Society for Higher Consciousness employed me as a third-degree ceremonial magician. Beautiful, knowledgeable, and master alchemist, educated at AA College by respected Dennis William Hawke, a prominent alchemist of our time. Already had a lot. NDEs are often said to awaken people spiritually. Naturally, I'm asking why I'm going through this terrible experience when I'm spiritually conscious and motivated to illumination. My answer to what do you want to be when you grow up was not a fireman since I was a child. Police weren't mentioned. I didn't consider astronauts because I wanted out. I sought profundity. Not knowing what the word meant when I was 3 or 4, I said enlightened. I don't know why. When I woke up from my coma on my birthday, I was informed I couldn't walk, speak, or move. I'm not paralyzed or badly hurt. Actually, I'm fine and have no facial scars. My memory was erased when I reincarnated, so I can't speak or walk. You can't access them, yet they're in your consciousness. I returned to my body identityless. I saw myself as soul, not human. I viewed them as spirits I knew from countless lifetimes. I couldn't tell past from present. No idea which one I was in. My first words to my loved ones at the hospital were, "What are you doing in London?" I was perplexed because my last life was in London out of London. I couldn't tell which lifetime I was in. They were blending. I know my son and partner from numerous incarnations. I became a medical miracle. The UCLA neurology chief examined me for 3 days several months later. He was sitting in his office and kept asking me, "When is your accident?" I was having trouble speaking, so I said, "Why do you keep asking me that?" He said, "So I'm looking at your fMRI, and I don't know how you're sitting in front of me, sitting up and talking. You should be a vegetable. I do not understand this. Can we study you?" He studied me for 3 days. When I rang him a month or so later ask, "So what did you find out?" He adds, "I'm in really a lot of trouble here. I have no idea. We want to know how you're doing this. You're a medical miracle. I have no explanation for how you're doing what you're doing. You should not be able to do it. I didn't overcome tragedy because I was brave. I was doing it because I feared staying the same. I didn't want to burden my family. I decided in the hospital that I should check out, hold my breath if necessary, and relieve them of care for an inert vegetable. A vision came, the Akashic agent said, "Well, what if you did recover from this? What kind of effect would that have on people? It would inspire them, and your legacy, to continue to motivate and give strength and encouragement to people, which is all you've worked for, would be intact." I decided to fight on. I told my family, I don't know if it's humanly possible to overcome this. I only know that if it is, I will. And if I can take one step, it becomes absolute evidence that I can take two. I don't know how far I can go, but I'm going to find out. For 4 years, I was in both dimensions, portal dimension and a natural dimension, yet most of my mind was in the portal dimension rather than the actual world, making it difficult to live and coexist. Why is the NDE divorce rate high? The divide between worldly people and the spiritual self is tremendous. I struggled to reconcile spiritual perception with tangible worldly occurrences. The world was warped, odd, and foolish to me, and I didn't understand it. I didn't care, but you need a job to work, pay rent, take showers, and make food. As a part of the tangible world, you must do things there, and I had to force myself to reintegrate. Many severe NDEs take 7 years for spirit consciousness to stabilize in the body. For the first 4 years, I went to the other side every night and was more present and conscious there than in the material world. I was awake and conscious in the portal. About 7 years ago, I started regaining my body and identity. From scratch, I discovered myself. Since I was a private counselor, my son showed me newspaper clippings about me. Due to my accomplishment, I was featured in several newspapers. I was a keynote speaker, helping lives with inventive work. My kids showed me these stories, and I thought, I can't be that guy. This guy looks like he knows what he's doing, and I'm all messed up. I was scared again. The right turn over left turn, paramedic, man, my son's friend on the block, and pastor. A pastor are miracles. Why? Why am I? Naturally, I asked God, hey, you know what? If you can put a paramedic on one corner, can you just make the touch and miss me? But it was my fate. It works differently. It seems obvious that I recognized I wasn't the architect and engineer of these events. Celestial and spiritual forces ruled. I had to document it as a well-trained, seasoned writer who takes his profession seriously. It was documented by me. I'm one of millions. However, my NDE was quite odd and had many unique aspects. They're all distinct and special, but an unequaled assortment of items seems to set it apart. Not proud of this. I thought, why me? I don't need this. But I was compelled by the Akashic agents and divine forces to create this book, a gift from my soul to yours. Again, I think that's the start. It continues. I flew to India, Egypt again, and many other areas to reintegrate and find my family.